Looking at making Charlottesville and the surrounding area part of your future move? Well, you don't want to miss today. Now, I know I have other videos and I try to fill you in on issues, complaints, things that when people move here, they're surprised by. Well, today, instead of being a negative Nancy, and no offense to anybody named Nancy, negative Mary, negative Pam, whatever, today we're going to talk about Charlottesville complaints, Dr. Seuss style. So don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this. Appreciate you stopping by, appreciate you giving me a few minutes, and I hope you take this in the very tongue-in-cheek of which I wrote and it is intended. But one of the number one things I hear, and I do want to hear from you, is that sometimes I seem too negative. Why would anybody, and my best friend is always, she's like, why are you so negative about Charlottesville? I'm not. If I didn't like Charlottesville, I could have been gone multiple times because I have come back here and I love Charlottesville. But these are complaints that people register, that my clients tell me, that I see and hear, whether it's on the internet, whether it's on Reddit, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on the Nextdoor app. These are all things that people just seem to be taken aback with. So I thought it would be fun for the newest round that I do it in a very literature method, and we talk about Dr. Seuss and the complaints. Here we go. In Charlottesville town, where the hills roll so green, there are some complaints, if you know what I mean. From postmen to students, from roads to the sky, let me tell you the grumbles as we stroll by. See where we're going here? I'm sorry. I have to have fun. This is part of having fun. But I'm still going to cover the complaints. Stay tuned. The Postal Service. The mail from dear Richmond? It's slow as a snail. It zigzags and lingers. It goes off the trail. Letters take journeys like they're seeing the sights while we sit here waiting for days and many, many nights. Okay, so let me fill you in on this one. This is actually very true. We seem to have a major issue with mail service. We used to have mail sorting here, but now all of our Charlottesville mail, meaning all the additional counties surrounding us, is sorted and then transported from Richmond. What this has produced, and then just unfortunately with low employment, the U.S. Postal Service here is always hiring, and we can see things go missing. We can see things delivered days and weeks later. We can see a lot of complaints about the mail. Back into character. The students. Oh, students. They come and they go. They fill up the streets. They put on a show with parties and parking and noise in the air. Some folks wish they'd vanish just like a hare. It's a university town. University of Virginia's here. The students are here to stay. It provides us with so many things. We get so many opportunities because of the University of Virginia. And in all honesty, there's just not a whole lot of interaction with the students and the Charlottesville community. Yes, direct interaction down at the university, because obviously it's also one of our largest employers, but you don't see a bunch of Sigma News rolling down 29, with a keg of beer or anything like that. Really, the students stay in their localized area, and not that we force them there, but it's just naturally how it has happened. And you know what? It's one of the top universities, public universities in the U.S. It's not going to have a lot of crap kids going there. Now, I'm not saying that there's not some that are, if anything, it probably goes the other way, because that's what I've heard from my service friends, that there are a lot of students who are very entitled. That to me would be annoying, but it's just part of the Charlottesville charm. Don't go anywhere. I continue on. This is one of my favorites. The liberals. Oh, too many liberals, some folks may declare, with ideas so lofty, like balloons in the air. They dream up new laws, they dream up new rules, and leave others feeling like they've been played as fools. Not to be outdone, the rednecks and conservatives. But the other side, oh, they have to have their say too. The rednecks conservatives wearing red, white, and blue. They cling to their trucks, to their guns, to their rights, and clash with the liberals in political fights. I have friends, full spectrum. I have friends from multiple countries. I have friends from multiple political beliefs, religious beliefs. Charlottesville, there are going to be pockets because we still have some very rural areas that unfortunately you're still going to see questionable behavior. And on the other end of that, you're going to have folks who feel like history is being trashed and that we're not taking things seriously enough and that we're just trying to make everybody get participation prize. So you have both sides of the spectrum. But what is next, you ask? You must call me so that you can act. Living in Charlottesville, the lack of public transportation. Public transportation? It's rare, I must say. The buses come once, then poof, go away. No subways, no trolleys, which is actually not true. Just cars all around. If you don't have a car, you're stuck on the ground. Probably one of the top things I hear, and truly because we don't have the infrastructure, but the CAT system, the Charlottesville Albemarle Transit and the UVA Transit do take care of the immediate area and they do go out into the counties, but it is farther and fewer between. But on the trolley, we actually do have a trolley bus that is a free service and it does a big old loop from UVA down and around the downtown area and then back through UVA. And the really sweet part of that is the trolley's free. So, but yeah, I have to say that's one I've said before, lack of transportation. Next up, few walkable neighborhoods. And the walkable places, they're too few, you see, with sidewalks as rare as a leaf on a tree. High-density housing, that's quite a big dream. But NIMBYs yell no with a loud and fierce scream. So this one was actually brought to my attention by several millennials and younger, because again, they're very versed in a shareable, walkable, living situation. And Charlottesville has some walkable neighborhoods, but they're not walkable as in a living lifestyle. You're not going to have a grocery store that you can walk to on most neighborhoods. You're not going to have services you can walk to. There are a ton of neighborhoods that encourage walking and biking, but for most of your services and for most of the things you need to do, you're really going to need either access to public transportation or you're going to need a car. And quite often, if you have a family, it's even easier if you have multiple cars. And that can be hard for a lot of folks because I know housing is not cheap. Having a car in addition or two, that's not easy to pay for. Where shall we go next? Let me cut back. For those who don't know what NIMBYs yell, not in my backyard. That's what that stands for. Next up, good old boys, old money, and NIMBYs. Now the good old boys, with their old money sway, they keep things the same, and that's how it shall stay. NIMBYs shout, no, not here, not by me. Change is too scary, like a storm on the sea. And honestly, as my daughter pointed out, that's why many things just won't change, because unfortunately the money and the NIMBYs are louder than the voices demanding change. So some things are just not going to change, such as the public transportation, because there's just not funding for it, and that people don't want it near them. Are you enjoying this? We're about halfway. Stick with me. Traffic. Traffic's a monster, it's true. It's no lie, especially when UVA games fill the sky. Cars crawl like turtles, no moving ahead, while drivers grow grumpy, their faces bright red. If you've ever lived in any place that has real traffic, please understand, Charlottesville has rush hour traffic. And yes, there's an occasional standstill. In general, Charlottesville does not have a traffic problem. But if that's what you're used to, then Charlottesville has a traffic problem. Panhandlers and homelessness. Panhandlers stand on the street every day with signs that say help as you go on your way. The homeless need homes, but where can they go? It's a puzzle unsolved with answers too slow. Charlottesville, and especially towards the downtown mall area, is the most often the place that you're going to see a lot of the homelessness, and we do see a lot of panhandlers. And there are tons of services, but unfortunately, again, due to regulations, NIMBYs, and other things, these things are just not getting taken care of. But it is common to hear about it and hear complaints about it. All right, we are wrapping up here. Stay tuned. Remember, this is why you need to give me a call. Slow pace of construction. Construction, oh please, it drags like a sloth. Whether it's schools or the bypass, it's slow as a moth. Year after year, we wait and we wait for projects to finish. It's just our fate. Frickin' We're talking Southern Women's Church meeting. Things will be talked and talked and talked and talked, and then it's gone. It's never done. Or if it is, it's years and years out. Sorry. Limited shopping. Shopping is limited. Choices are small. For clothes or big stores, you might have to crawl. To cities far off or to Richmond you'll dash, leaving local shops feeling a little bit brash. We have some phenomenal stores. Love my small shop owners, and we have some amazing stores. But in general, Charlottesville is lacking for shopping, and I don't know anybody who would argue against that. High-speed internet. And don't get me started on internet speed. In some parts of town, it's slower than a growing weed. High-speed connections? They're not everywhere, leaving some folks stuck, pulling out their hair. We've seen this grow and get so much better, but still, if high-speed connection is important to you, we need to keep that in mind when we are looking at making living in Charlottesville part of your future. There are still a ton of places that internet is very limited, and you can still be dependent on even satellite internet, so it can be that bad. We are starting to see a lot of fiber internet go into places, and we have a lot of the local governments around that are working on it. But again, going back to the slow pace of construction and projects, there you go. So that's Charlottesville's woes in a Seussian rhyme, where some things are lovely, but others take time. But despite all these gripes, it's a place many love, with mountains so blue and skies high above. And with that, thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed today, and I do apologize, but I just wanted to do something fun and different, I would love your thumbs up. I would love your recommendations on things you want to see. And if I can help you at all, please remember to reach out to me, call, text, email. Leave me a comment below, whatever it is. Send up a smoke signal, although I'm not as versed on the smoke signal. But until next time, I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye!